And a lot of the time when I tell my clients to go and look after themselves and put themselves first and fill their cup, guess what happens? Hello, gorgeous lady. Welcome back to Higher Self and I. Now, in today's podcast episode, I really want to talk into something that is coming up a lot for quite a few clients at the moment, and this is the frantic energy in your business. It's the, what else can I do? What else do I need to be doing? What's wrong with me? Is it me? What's going on? Why isn't this happening for me? And the frantic energy that you bring to the strategy that you're trying to put in place in your business, or to signing more clients, or to bringing more money in, is going to have a direct impact on what's actually happening and how people are receiving your content, your positioning, your messaging, and the way that you're showing up online. And I really wanted to talk about this from a mindset perspective, obviously, because that's what I'm here for. But when your mind is going at this like million miles per hour, thinking of all the things that you should be doing to make the business work and bring more money in, and I have to hit that 10K, we're coming from like that state of high anxiety. And I am speaking from sheer experience with this one, because I was in this space. I was in that frantic, grasping, impatient, gotta be happening, gotta happen now. I was in that energy for a long time in 2020. And to be honest, I used to show up in my business like that all of the time. And a lot of the time when you are showing up in that, and you are being in that energy, and you're not giving yourself grace and slowing down and being patient, and I know that's hard to do. I am the most impatient person there is. Everyone used to say I took after my granddad for that. But it starts to bring in beliefs and energy that people are receiving your message from. And we don't want that, like I said. Now, when you start to be in this energy, when that kind of like high, like anxiety driven functioning through your business starts to come in, we actually start to second guess ourselves. The trust goes, the constant questions start to come up. What else can I be doing? What am I doing wrong? Like, what is it? What's it coming from? And it starts to bring up you just bringing in lack of trust for yourself and lack of trust for what you're doing. And then the impatience comes in, and then you change your strategy for the 57th time because you think that's going to be the answer. And we're in this constant cycle of frustration again and again and again and again. You're just going round and round in circles. And I know this might be resonating with some of you. In fact, I know most of you probably feel called out right now. But what I want to do is actually look at how we can get out of this energy and how we can really step away from this energy. Now, what I'm actually not talking about in this podcast episode is when you're asking and you're getting curious in your business as to why it's not happening from a growth perspective, because that looks very different. If you are in the, very grounded energy, this is what I'm doing. This is the needle moving activities that I'm taking. This is how I'm showing up for myself, for my community, for my clients. This is the message that I'm putting out there. These are the clients that I'm speaking to. If you're coming from your business from that energy, a growth mindset where you know that you've got everything in place with your strategy and you're showing up, and then you come with a question of, what's not working or what could be improved? That is very different than what I'm speaking about in this podcast. Because sometimes the strategy isn't working. And sometimes we do have to look at changes in positioning or changes in messaging or changes in the ideal client that you're speaking to. But it's coming from a very different energy of like, nothing's working. What else can I do? I want it to all happen now. Please help me, help me, help me, help me, help me. That's very different to, I'm curious. What's going on right now? Like, what do I need to change? What do I need to have a look at? So I'm not speaking to that side of things today. I'm speaking to the frantic energy question of what's going on. What am I doing wrong? I'm speaking to that today. So I just wanted to put that out there before we get going, because sometimes in business, we do have to reflect on things that might not be working, or things that might be needing improvement, or things that might be need tweaking. You know, we tweak a lot with my clients. They get themselves to a point and then we're constantly tweaking, whether it's messaging, whether it's their mindset. Like, yes, we tweak, but it comes from a growth perspective of like, oh, okay, kind of feel like stepping into this right now, or I kind of getting curious around why this isn't working a little bit. So what can we do here? What do I believe needs to change here? Not speaking to that today. I'm speaking to the frantic. Mine's going a million miles per hour. If this doesn't work, my whole life will come crashing down. I will die and everything will burn. That's the energy that I'm speaking to today. So, whilst sometimes the frantic energy is not inherently negative, it can hinder our productivity. It can definitely hinder your well-being, which I see time and time again. And it can definitely hinder your creativity, the way you show up for your business. And you actually start resenting your business when you're constantly in this, why isn't this working? Like, what is going on? Like this constant frantic energy. And we need to find the balance between, yes, having that push of like, I freaking want this to happen. Like, I will do anything for this to happen, but to really find the balance in what energy that is. Because you can be a high achiever and you can reach your dreams and goals and you can truly step into getting the business that you desire, but it can't keep coming from that frantic energy. Because one, you will burn out, and two, you will resent your business. And I don't want either of those for you. What is the rush? That is my first question. One of my clients said to me the other day, I'm just so annoyed that I haven't reached my dreams and my potential and my goals. And I was like, are you on your deathbed? Are you 70 right now? Are you 80, 90, 100 right now? Because that's what you're speaking to me like. I called her out and I was like, look, like, you're very young. We've got a lot of time. Like, there is a lot of time left. And I think in the entrepreneur space, because we're constantly fed the messages of like how I hit 500,000K in 2 days. We're constantly fed this bullshit, which we know. You start to grasp on that you're running out of time, and you start to grasp on that there's no time left, and you start to grasp on that you should be further along than you are, when really we've got all the time in the world, and let's freaking enjoy this journey, because you're not enjoying the journey right now. I know you're not if you're in that frantic energy. You're waking up frustrated. You're waking up constantly thinking about your business. You're not doing anything other than working on your business, which is fine. I've been there, and we do have to work hard to grow your own business, but in a place that feels enjoyable, because there's a reason why you started your own business, and that's because you wanted the enjoyment and you wanted the freedom to work on your time, or you wanted the freedom to be able to talk about what you want to talk about, but you're not letting yourself because you're constantly playing this pattern of frantic energy. So let's dive in. The very first thing is having a look at what I said at the start of the podcast, which is, where is the what else can I do? Why isn't it working? Is it me? Where is that coming from? Where is it actually coming from? Is it coming from a growth perspective where you go, oh, okay, something's not working right now. I've just had this conversation with my client. She's very in her growth mindset. She came to me on Voxer and she was like, Beck, I'm a little bit confused right now because I was hitting 10K and now I'm not. And can we have a little discover of what's going on? Like, I'm willing and I'm open and I'm ready to actually have a look at what that looks like. She was coming from a perspective of, I'm not worried about it. I'm just curious. And we worked through it. And we had a look at the energy behind it and how she felt she could hold the 10K and the mindset behind it. And we worked through it. Whereas, are you coming from, this isn't fucking working. Why isn't this working? Is it me? I think it's me. Am I the problem? Hi, me? Like, Which side are you coming from? Because if you're coming from the growth side, you're going to have more perspective and more opportunities to see what you can shift. If you're coming from the scarcity side, which is the frantic, you are closing yourself off. You're bringing the blinders in, you're shutting the curtains, you're putting your glasses on and you're going, well, I can't see what the problem is. Why isn't this working? I'm doing what everyone else is doing, so what the hell? You're not giving yourself time or space to actually look at or get curious at anything with that mindset. So have a look. Where is it coming from? Is it coming from the curiosity that you're willing and open and able to have a conversation, whether it's with a coach or with yourself in your journal or wherever that is? Are you open to looking at what that is and then going, okay, I see. Maybe this needs shifting, and then having the patience with yourself to be able to shift that. I showed up really consistently for a lot of freaking years, and you have to commit to that. Yes, okay, some people get it quicker. Yes, okay, someone's reel goes viral, and yes, someone steps into a lucky era, but some of us just had to be consistent to get to where we are. And that's what the patience piece brings in. So where is that coming from? Where is the what's going on? What's wrong? What am I doing wrong? Where is that coming from? Growth or scarcity? Which one are you grasping from? If you're grasping from scarcity right now, ask yourself, okay, I'm just going to be honest with myself. This is coming from scarcity right now. What if it came from a curiosity? What if it came from an open space? I kind of see that question of like, what am I doing wrong? Like, what else can I do? What's wrong with me? Is it me? It's very closed off. I kind of see like you put the wall around and you're like, nah, I'm not looking at it. Whereas if you can come from it from a place of growth and you open yourself out to what actually is going on, maybe it is you. Maybe it is your beliefs. Maybe it is how you're showing up. Or maybe it's your messaging, or maybe it's your niche just doesn't land to the niche that you want to land to and you have to change it. But having that openness to be able to get curious with it, that's what's going to shift you out of it. Number 2, have a little look at the stories that you are creating around the fact that it's not working yet, or you're not where you want to be, or you haven't reached XK. Like, what stories are you making that mean behind yourself? Because a lot of the time in business, when we don't achieve something in business, because we're a personal brand, we don't see it as a transactional thing. We see it as a personal thing. Well, if I ain't hitting 10K, that makes me not good enough. That's not the story. That's not the case. You've made that mean that about you. In fact, it was a transitional business thing that you've tried, strategy or way of doing things that just hasn't worked. So now I can get curious. Okay, why didn't it work? What can I do differently next time? It's a very different way of looking at things. That client that didn't sign might just have not been the client for you. Or it might have been how you showed up on the discovery call. Or it might have been that client is just too scared to step into that investment with you right now. It's nothing to do with you. And there's this story that you're creating about yourself for not being where you need to be, or the shoulds and the have tos and the need tos. The story that you're creating around that is over-consuming your life and your business, and you're making it mean something about you when sometimes on face value it's a transactional situation that we need to look at in business. If something isn't working, look at it through curiosity. I think this is going to be the drive home message of this podcast. So number 1 is, where is the question of like, what else can I do? Is it me? What's not working? The frantic. Where is it coming from? Is it coming from a growth, open curiosity place? Or is it coming from like, I'm closed off, this isn't working, it's got to do with me, it's all me? Number 2, what stories are you creating around the this isn't working? What stories are you creating around that I'm not where I need to be yet? What stories are you creating around that I haven't reached 10K yet? You're making it mean something about you. I want you to see it separate. We have to disassociate from our business, because if not, you're going to be overconsumed with every no that you get, overconsumed with every rejection you have. I used to shit on the fact that I was in the performing arts industry, but the one thing the performing arts industry taught me was rejection. I used to get rejected 3, 4, 5 times a week in auditions that I would go to. Like, I would show up for 5 auditions and not get one of them. Now, that might have been because my voice wasn't correct, or I didn't look right for the role, or my hair was too blonde. But if I kept showing up to 5 auditions a week and getting rejected every single time, I would probably get quite curious as to why. But equally, if I kept making that mean something about myself, I might as well dig myself a hole and go and lie in it, because life is not enjoyable. So it's, yes, we're going to be rejected. Yes, things aren't going to work in the business. Yes, you're going to get no's. All the time. I get no's now, but it's what you actually make the no's mean. It's what you actually make that story mean in your head, rather than seeing as a detachment and something that we can have a look at, yes, and change the strategy, yes, but it doesn't mean anything about you, about your identity. Okay? Right. Number 3. Are you clear why you want it and where the want and need is coming from? Another conversation that I had with my client the other day, she was like wanting to step into 10K. And she actually sat down and she was like, but why do I want 10K? Where has that come from? Is that a story that the industry has fed me that I believe I need in order to be successful? 10K equals I'm successful in my business? Or is it the fact that I actually want 10K? Like, do I actually want that? Or is that something that I've took on because I think I need it to be successful? So are you clear on why you want what you're currently trying to frantically scramble to get? Because if you have listened to my voice in that particular segment of the podcast and you've gone, shit, I don't actually know why I'm frantically scrambling to get this right now, then we're fighting a losing battle. You're going for something that you don't actually know why you're going for it for. What's the freaking point? You know, like, yes, okay, if you've sat down and you've gone, right, 10K is going to give me this because I can pay this bit to my team. I can get 3 massages a month. I can get my nails done. I'm going to spend this on my house deposit. Like, if you know where that 10K is going to go and what that's going to look like, and you know that that is kind of the caliber, the minimum energetic amount that you want in your bank account, then good. Or whatever number you're trying to reach. I know I'm honing in on the 10K right now, but it's only because it's prevalent with my client right now. So like, where are you clear on why you want it? Are you clear on why you're constantly trying to get to this place? Is it to prove something to others? Or is it because you actually want it? Is it because other people told you that you have to be there to be successful? Or is it because you actually want it? Deep down, is that part of your dreams? Is it part of your goals? And if it is, great. Get really responsible with that. Get understanding on what that would look like. Number 4, in your frantic energy, which I see as being busy for busy's sake, comes up all the time. Look at me, busy badge of honor. Are you looking after yourself in the process? Because what I see when I'm pulling my clients out of the frantic energy, and it does happen, like I said, it happened to me, and I still dip my toe in the frantic every now and again. Doesn't matter what freaking level of business that you're in. Are you looking after yourself in the process? Because when we're in the frantic energy, which really, when we look at the nervous system, is fight or flight, you're in fight or flight, and we can't stay there very long, really. We can't stay in fight or flight for a prolonged period of time. We then go into like shutting everyone out, done, red light, stopped. So are you looking after yourself in the process? Because the first thing to drop, that was a lot to say, the first thing to drop when you are in the frantic energy is your health, your well-being. Because you're like, no, I have to work 400 hours a day to make my business work. And you know, a lot of the time when I tell my clients to go and look after themselves and put themselves first and fill their cup, guess what happens? Things start shifting and money starts being made because you're coming from a very different energy. So are you looking after yourself in the process? Are you being busy for busy's sake? Are you flitting around trying to hold on to another strategy that might work, or another group program that might do the thing, or another coach that might be the answer? Maybe it's looking at you. Maybe it's looking within. Maybe it's looking at what you need and how you need to show up and what you need for you. Very, very important. And we lose sight of that so much when we're starting our business. I neglected my health and well-being for a very, very long time. Very long time. And my health and well-being used to be top priority for me. I used to love fitness, love going to the gym. The podcast that I would listen to would be about that. As soon as my business started, I became so consumed with how to grow a business. That was the only podcast that I was listening to, the only books I would read, the only people that I would hire. Maybe you're looking in the wrong place for growth. Maybe it's actually going to come from you and looking after you and putting yourself first. And I have a plethora of evidence that when my clients start looking after themselves and when they start putting themselves first and when they start really stepping into that, things start to shift. And it's no coincidence. It's because you're filling your energy in the way that you show up and you're coming from that open space. Again, scarcity versus growth. And then the last thing that I wanted to have a look at is how much in the future are you playing? Because when we're constantly yes, playing in the future, being your higher self, 100% is what I talk about. The podcast is called Higher Self and I. However, when you're constantly in the future, I talked about this on a podcast a while back, when you're constantly in the future, you stop being in the present. And then you're constantly trying to reach to something that when you get there, you'll have something else to reach onto and you're never, ever enjoying the journey. So actually come back to the now and be like, okay, how can I make this fun right now? How can I let go of the energy of what's wrong with me or what's wrong and what's going on? I'm going to come with that through curiosity and actually have a look. Maybe I do need to change my strategy. Maybe I do need to hire. Maybe I do need to have a look at what that is going on for me. But equally, how can I enjoy it now? How can I make Instagram fun? How can I make my stories fun? How can I make showing up for my clients fun right now? How can I create a life, a present life, the life that you have right now? How can I be grateful for that? How can I have this balance? And that's what I talked about in the podcast of being grateful in the now and having the balance of your ambition. I'll tag it in the show notes if you haven't listened to that one before, but really kind of bringing it back to the now. So to recap, where is the what else can I do coming from? Growth or scarcity? Number 2, what stories are you creating around it not working yet, not having 10K? What are you making that mean about yourself? Number 3, are you clear on actually what you want to the thing that you're frantically trying to get to? Where is it coming from? Is it coming from someone that's told you you need that to be successful? Or is it actually something that you want? Number 4, are you looking after yourself in the process? Are you nurturing your nervous system so you're not constantly shaking and living off coffee? Number 5, how much in the future are you playing? Yes, we need the ambition. Yes, we want to tap into our higher self and bring it closer. But equally, we have to be okay with the now in order to move forwards. On my TED Talk today. Anyway, for this, I just want to break down for the last part of this podcast. I just want to break down a couple of questions that you can ask yourself of what I've spoke about today. So if you're looking at your goals, this is kind of going back to the point that I made about, are you clear on why you want it? Am I clear of where I'm heading and why I want this? Do I understand how I'm going to get there or what I will do when I get there? What is that going to look like for me? What do I want it to look like? Have I got that path of least resistance? Am I frantically scrambling around because I actually don't know what I'm doing? Do I have a strategic plan for my business? Am I planning ahead? Do I know my needle moving activities or am I pissing in the wind right now? Get very clear on that. Mindset. What are my beliefs when it comes to truly stepping into what I want? Okay, if it is the 10K that you're frantically trying to get, what's stopping you from having that right now? And it's usually your belief system that is, because it's trying to keep you safe. What could be holding me back right now? Have a look into that. Energy. Am I filling my own cup? Do I actually have space and capacity and energy to hold more clients? A lot of the time we don't step into something that we really want because our subconscious has no clue on how we're going to hold it when we get there. You know, a lot of my clients are like, I want to hit 10K. And I'm like, cool, okay, what will that look like for your life? How different will that be? How many clients are you holding if you have 10K in your business? How much more energy are you needing to give to other people in your life? And then having a look at that and starting to create a daily routine that supports your energy levels, that aligns with the business and goals that you're working towards. Very, very important. Client attraction. Am I crystal clear on the type of client that I want to attract and how I bring them in? Do I understand the energy that I need to be in order to show and bring these people in? Am I nurturing and being in the right places for them? Am I taking the action in this, or am I just freaking out and procrastinating all the time? Money mindset. Does it feel safe to step into this amount of wealth that you want to bring in, that you're being frantic about? Needle moving activities. You know, where am I focusing my time? Am I focusing my time right now on all the things that aren't working? Because that's not making you focus on the things that can work and do work and that you should be doing. Am I focusing on the fact of all the things that I don't know, so I'm constantly buying courses? You don't know how many times I've put clients on investment blocks. They ask me, they're like, Beck, please hold me accountable to not invest in anything else. You know, all of these questions are really going to help you move out of this frantic energy and see where it's coming from, because running a business in this frantic energy, running the business in fight or flight is not sustainable. It's not fun, and it doesn't get you to where you want to be. So you believing right now that being more frantic is going to get you somewhere quicker, it's only going to be getting you somewhere slower. The hare and the tortoise, you know? What happened to the hare? We want to be the tortoise. Like, our business is here. We want to nurture it. We grow. We can move slower. Be patient. Enjoy the journey. I hope you've got a couple of aha moments from today. I feel like there was plenty. If anything has really hit, make sure you drop into the DMs or reviewing, rating, passing it on to a business bestie that you know needs to hear this right now. And I will see you on the next episode. Mwah.